Okay, so here we are live with another Masters Universe Origins unboxing, and this one is Flying Fist He-Man. So I'm still over at my mom's house. I snuck into this other room so I could do this video real quick before I have lunch. So let's go ahead and have a look at him. Got a nice piece of artwork there with He-Man and those wacky flying fist weapons. It says, swings with awesome might, modern posing, retro play. We got a comic book that's off center, but at least it's still in the package. Got an extra head for He-Man, an extra hand, the spinning weapons, and the Sword of Power, which already puts this thing a point above the original Flying Fist He-Man, which did not come with a sword. In fact, that's one of the reasons I never bought this one when I was a kid, because I'm like, why would you make a He-Man figure without a sword? That's just dumb. So now the Flying Fist He-Man does have his fans, and part of that has to do with the chrome breastplate. You know, a lot of people like that shiny chrome breastplate. I know Pixel Dan, he's particularly fond of this one, but me personally, never had it. Didn't really care to have it because he didn't have a sword. So, plus I kind of felt like the original figure, his neck was a little long, and that kind of giraffe neck thing going on. I don't know. Here's the artwork on the back. Very nice piece. We got He-Man, Mossman, Cyclone, Fisto, and Eternia is here in the background. The Eternia playset. Obviously with the planet Eternia, but and then let's see what else is in there. Usually there's a little more Easter eggs than what I'm looking at right now. I'm guessing that this probably puts together into one picture with the Terra Claus Skeletor figure that I don't have with me, the package of it. So it says to swing arms, hold figure, and grip wheel. You know, you can grip it by the hand, the little clip thing on the back too. Uh, hold. Oh yeah, this says that underneath. Turn figure in either direction for arms. Arms swing fast for battle. Hold battle grip to swing figure even faster. Battle grip holds one weapon. Shiny spinning three-headed mighty mace and shiny spinning shield. All right, so let's go ahead and have a look at our Flying Fist He-Man. You know what's funny to me is we've got two gripping hands and the open hand on the left hand. You know, that typical open He-Man hand. But you know what Flying Fist He-Man does not have? He does not have fists. Okay. And normally I don't really care for closed fists with these figures because I prefer to have figures, hands that can hold stuff. And I usually just pretended like those were fists anyway, because you're a kid, you're using your imagination. But it's Flying Fist He-Man. I know they got fist molds. They might as well toss one in there. So what it says, modernizing and celebrating the original '80s Masters Universe figures, He-Man battles back vile villains with fist flinging power. And then we got the colossal artwork on the back. We got Terra Claus, Skeletor, the Sorceress, Jitsu, Stratos, and Buzzoff. Probably the worst selling assortment they ever had. Or it might have even been a really good assortment. And they just got way too many of them. But I know there's still those figures hanging around the pegs in some stores in this country. Anyway, let's go ahead and open them up. And this one seems to be the bubble seems to be glued quite well to the package. So let's go ahead and do that. Get that. Okay. I don't think I've read this comic. Under Siege. So it's the Steven Seagal movie. You got Flying Fist He-Man with his mighty mace and being surrounded by villains, horde troopers. And first big splash panel with Hordak and an army of horde troopers. Eternia is under attack from the evil horde. Attack! Led by the vile Etherean overlord Hordak. Sorry, fellas, Eternia is closed today. And he hits him with his mighty mace. Next time, call before coming over. These horde guys just keep coming. And then Grizzlor gets blasted by Skeletor, of all people. Pathetic boy, you should know by now that to wash your back. Watch your back. Almost sounds like I said wash. You should wash your back too, but whatever. Pathetic boy, you should know by now to watch your back. If not for the horde, then definitely from me. And then they kind of face off in this panel, and content to sit on the sidelines while Eternia burns, Skeletor. Why am I not surprised? And whose fault would that be? You're Eternia's greatest protector, not me. Look, Skeletor. And then Flying Fist, He-Man knocks over a bunch of Horde troopers. You were saying? Leave this battlefield. Eternia can't afford one of your legendary failures. Not today. Meh. Do you hear me, Skeletor? I never say meh. Ah! And then he puts on the Terror Claws magically, and they're both rushing each other. Your move, bonehead. Die! So now they're fighting Horde troopers. They're actually teamed up. And leave this realm. It is mine to terrorize. Weird, but okay. For Eternia. And then Skeletor says, for me. And they're both fighting off the Horde troopers together. You got Hordak back here, blasting away at them with this green energy beam. Is this all Eternia has to offer? Bow before the might of, and they both hit him at the same time. And you never do learn, Hordak. Fortunately, I do. And he knocks out Skeletor right as he's sneaking behind him. Watch your back. Thanks for the advice, Skeletor. Meh. So, pretty decent comic. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the figure and its accessories. There's the figure itself out of the package. He's got the inner bubble here. Go and get that off of here. He's got that sort of thing going on that Terror Claws Skeletor had, where he's got this plastic piece that puts in between his shoulders. I dropped the rest of the package on the ground. And then looks like the only rubber tabs on here are these that fit around his ankles. We can slip those out of there rather easily. All right, so the other accessories, we've got the left gripping hand and the so-called Mighty Mace, which is indeed shiny and chrome. And one of them, looks like two of these maces are hollowed out and one of them is weighted, so that probably gives you a little more swing when the thing slings around. Of course, have the Sword of Power. So there's that. That's set that aside. And a lot of the times these figures come with a deluxe, or the deluxe figures come with an extra head. And this one is no exception. So get this out of here. We get again this windswept hair, yelling kind of He-Man head, which I really like. I like this head quite a bit. I don't like it as well as the original one because obviously the original one's always my favorite, but that one's pretty cool. And one thing that's different about this one is that as opposed to the Battlefield Warriors one where they painted in the inside of his mouth, I don't know if you can see that, the inside of his mouth is unpainted, so that's unfortunate. And then there's the shield, the spinning shield. So the gimmick of this, when the original figure came out, I'm going to swap out this hand, is that he swung back and forth, raised both arms, and he had these weapons that spun around. But I think it would have been just as cool to have a sword in his hand. I'm just saying, let's go and do that first, actually. So, and much like with Terror Claws Skeletor, these arms can be posed, but they have to kind of ratchet around. They don't move freely on their own. So, yeah, kind of nice hacking, slashing action. I think that they recycled pretty much the same mechanism onto the New Adventures He-Man figure, the block and slash action, as they called it on that, I believe. So, and he does not have the giraffe neck like the original figure had. So, both of my issues with it have been solved. But he does still have the shiny chrome breastplate, which is good. A nice shiny chrome H on his chest and the The belt, the second belt that's the upper belt that's around his waist is nice and shiny gold. Trim is nice and shiny gold. It's an impressive looking figure as far as that goes. So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation a little bit. Like I said, I already talked about his shoulders and how they don't really move around freely, but he's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow. Straightens out about that far, bends in about that far, rotates all the way around. The wrists rotate all the way around and have a horizontal hinge. Oh yeah, He-Man can look up, not very far. He can look down a little bit. He can kind of slightly tilt his head quizzically from side to side. This is a very thick neck. The head rotates all the way around. He rotates all the way. Well, he does not rotate all the way around. I'm getting ahead of myself. The gimmick kind of messes with the waist articulation, so you just kind of he can move back and forth, but it doesn't really pose per se. He can kick up about that far. He's got a single joint articulation at the knee that bends about that far, rotates all the way around. Got a boot cut, rotates all the way around. Toe articulation, or I'm sorry, foot articulation. Foot points down about that far, points up about that far, and rotates all the way around. So let's go ahead and have a look at these flying fist accessories. And they are that shiny chrome also. So let's go ahead and get the shield on his wrist. Now the shield, for the most part, is made out of a gold plastic. It's not chrome, but it's just kind of metallic gold plastic, standard metallic gold plastic. It's the little spinning top thing on here that actually has the chrome to it. And then He-Man's mace has a handle on the inside, but it's more like a pistol grip than a traditional mace handle. And then the whole thing is supposed to kind of clip around his hand. So Flying Fist He-Man does not actually have fists. These are supposed to be his fists, I guess, but you can see it does swing around quite nicely when you swing it. Maybe this would have been a better gimmick for Man at Arms, since he's a character who's well known for using a mace in battle. But I gotta admit, it's a pretty fun gimmick to play around with. So that's nice. But I still, as a kid, I needed that sword, man. So anyway, allegedly these are supposed to clip onto his back, but it's one of those kind of like with the Terror Claws. It doesn't really seem to want to stay on there very well. And then like this thing would be bumping up against his head all the time. That just seems annoying. Can you put it on the other way? Yeah, but then it just be bumping into his legs as he walked around. They did not think this system through very well. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for Flying Fist He-Man. It's a fairly fun variant of the character, but I gotta say it's not my personal favorite. Like I said, I don't really have that kind of nostalgic attachment to this guy that a lot of people would seem to have beyond it being He-Man himself. But as far as being like it's not my favorite version of the character. It's probably my least favorite of the variants from the original line. And I'm sorry to anybody who really loved the original Flying Fist He-Man. I don't mean to be like, you know, crapping on something that you enjoyed when you were a kid, but for me, it just never did it. Sorry. But I do think that this one does improve upon that original design somewhat. And he's probably worth picking up, especially since I was able to get this guy for cheap on Amazon. I think I only paid like $12 for it, which is pretty good for any Masters Universe Origins figure, especially one that's a deluxe figure. So, and he will look nice on my shelf, I think. So yeah, I don't regret buying him. I think he's pretty cool. So we've got more to come as far as Masters Universe Origins goes, and we've got Geldor. He arrived for me the other day, so I need to open up Geldor, and not Keldor, Geldor, different character. And we've got another He-Man coming up because we've got the oh, and he's all coming off the package. Got the Turtles of Grayskull He-Man finally. But man, that thing is not glued on there very well. And he, I'm over at my mom's house right now, so he's been kind of moving around. I might want to just go ahead and just get him out of the way, just because, like I said, this the package is not staying on very well at this point. They've been having a problem with that lately. So anyway, get this other one to tell them for. I got a bunch of Turtles of Grayskull to open since I've decided to get into that line. So I've been making up for lost time, as it were. But anyway, that's it for Flying Fist He-Man. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Flying Fist He-Man. Is this one that really worked for you as a kid, or were you like me and you're like, what's the point of even having a He-Man figure with a sword without a sword at this time? Like you already established on the Filmation cartoon how important the sword is. So why does he not have one? That's just silly. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye. Okay.